Hi, I'm Dr. Ahmad from Juvida Clinics. In this talk, we'll be discussing the possibility of using hair from other than the head for a hair transplant. So in the vast majority of hair transplants, we take hair from what we call the donor area, which is across the back of the head here. Once we take those grafts, we then place those same grafts in an area in the recipient area where they are required. So that's normally either the anterior section, the hairline, sometimes the mid-scalp, or otherwise it could be the crown. The reason we take it from there is because, well, we know that in this donor area there's almost a surplus. We have a good amount of density, a good amount of hair, so we can safely take a reasonable amount of hair from the back and place it elsewhere without really affecting the look of the back of the head, and that's why that area is ideal. Sometimes people do request, is it possible that we can take hair from elsewhere? And the only time we might consider that would be if it's a very large procedure and the person has either not a great donor area at the back, or they've already had a transplant and that area has been exhausted and we don't really want to be taking any more grafts from the donor area because it's already maybe starting to get a little bit less dense and we're worried about sort of over harvesting. And in those instances, sometimes we do look at other avenues, other possibilities, and that generally tends to be either beard hair, chest hair, sometimes even pubic hair. We have had a patient who was very insistent we use the pubic hair, but generally speaking, the preferred option is always to do either the beard or the chest. But before that, as I said, and just to stress, it's always really ideal just to use the hair in the back. And the main reason for that is, as I suggested, there's large amounts of it, but also if we think about the characteristic of the hair, we want the transplant to look as natural as possible. In order to achieve that, it's always best to use the hair that's on the head. The reason being is if you look at hair elsewhere, so hair on your chest, it's a bit fine, it can be a bit wavy, and they are single hairs, whereas if you look on the back of the head, often you'll find mainly 2 head grafts and lots of 3 head grafts and so on and so forth. Similarly with the beard, characteristic again a little bit different. Beard hair tends to be quite thick, quite coarse. So yes, essentially always preferable to use hair on the head, and very rarely do we ever harvest grafts from elsewhere, such as the chest, the beard, or anywhere else for that matter, for that reason.